So I lead with this slide. This is what if you go to the Williston Northampton school, we just shorten it to Williston very often. When you go to Williston's home site, you're going to see the words "Be Yourself" here. That's going to be what you see right on the first page of our landing page for our website. The reason we've had that up there for a long time, and it's actually an interesting story because we were talking about a lot of different things about the school. A guy who works in our communications office who did not attend Williston, who did not attend a boarding school, but who's worked at the school for a while, as we were kind of trying to think about what we would put on our site. And he's someone who I work with really closely, other folks in the admission office, other folks at the school work with really closely. He takes a lot of pictures, he puts out a lot of our media, different things. And as we were talking about things, what's the differentiator? What's the thing about Williston that's different than other schools, right? And one of the things he said, well, it boiled down to be yourself here, because when you guys talk about other schools, when I hear you talk about other schools, it seems like one of the things you talk about is the fact that students come here because they feel very comfortable being themselves. And so we kind of coalesced with be yourself here, and it really resonates, and I feel like it's resonated almost even more as we've grown as a school. So we lead with this because some of the things that Teddy was talking about, different things you might have learned about different schools, a little bit along the lines of what he was just saying, the who as opposed to the what. We are a school that really is going to focus a lot of attention on students and on who they are when they're interviewing and thinking about us as a school. And we really feel like a lot of students that choose Williston choose us because they feel a comfort level, even before they go there, with what they can accomplish in the school. And also who they can be there, how comfortable they can be with just being themselves in our school. So we always lead with that. Some facts. So some facts about our school. So we are a school that we are located in the town of East Hampton, Massachusetts. So we have a 125-acre campus. We are about 1.5 hours drive directly west from Boston and about 3 hours from New York City. If you go, New York City is a tricky town, probably much like Bangkok to get into, so it takes a little while from the outside. So sometimes you can get there in 2.5 hours, but sometimes it takes 3. We also have a really interesting in-town location, which I'll talk about a little bit in a moment. We are a school of 420 students, just about 70% boarding and 30% day. We live in our school is in a part of Western Massachusetts that is pretty well habitated, so there's a lot of folks that live in our area. There's some big college towns right around us. There's a sizable population around us, so it leads to a little bit of a larger day student population than some schools that are a little bit further off. 23% international, and we have students, this slide is from last year, actually we're down to 28 countries this year, but we still have 28 countries proudly represented at our school. And we are a fairly balanced male-female, 45% female, 55% male. 155 academic courses, average class size of 12, 92 faculty members, 95%, or not, it's actually down to 90%, just about 90% of our faculty live on campus, along the lines of what Teddy was talking about with Blair. 52 AP and honors classes. So to touch on those a little bit. So we have a very strong, balanced and diverse academic curriculum with 29 AP classes. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but I'm also going to talk about some additional academic opportunities that exist at Williston. More often than not, with 29 AP classes, the reason we list that number is because it is a little bit different. It's something that is different at Williston in comparison to other schools around us that are our size. There are a good number of schools in New England that are somewhere around 350 to 450 students. It's very difficult to find another school of around 400 that offers 29 different AP classes. Most schools are going to offer somewhere around 14 or 15 that are our size, and you need to look at bigger schools that are near us, like Loomis Chaffee, Loomis Choate, Deerfield Academy is right up the road from us. Bigger schools that have larger student bodies. We're very proud of the fact that we offer 29 different AP classes, not because we think that makes us a stronger academic institution than other peer schools, but what we love about it is that it gives our students opportunities to study at the advanced placement level in more courses than is true at other schools that are our size. And we feel like that's really important, because if you are a student who's studying and you decide, I really want to take on AP Physics 1, but then I also want to go on and take AP Physics C as well, then you should be able to do that. If you are a student who's at a level where you want to do AP Environmental Science, or you take an AP US History class and then you want to do another class that studies AP US government in a different way, we want to make sure that students have that opportunity. So we're very proud of the fact that we offer those, but it's mostly, it's there, that is true because we want to have that opportunity available for our students to really kind of study at that advanced level. And that, I know we just talked about this, but APs, folks are familiar with APs? Someone asked that question, but do folks know what AP classes are too? I make sure that yes, nods, kind of, okay, all right. AP are just courses that are essentially collegiate level courses. You take an exam at the end of they're offered nationwide in the US. There's an exam at the end, and depending on your score, you can get collegiate credit or collegiate, you can bypass introductory courses at a lot of colleges and universities. And they're great opportunities, great rigorous classes. A lot of different academic spaces. I don't have as many pictures of the different academic spaces. This is a picture of we just newly renovated our science center this year. So this is a picture of some students working on some molecular models. One of the things that I wanted to talk about though with regard to our academic program is a slightly different program. In addition to APs, Williston also offers a program called Williston Scholars. Williston Scholars is an independent study program that really allows us to engage with the academic community around us. So Williston is located in East Hampton, Massachusetts. There's an arc of 5 colleges that are located in the surrounding towns near us. They are a part of a group called the 5 College Consortium. And they include Smith College, University of Massachusetts, Amherst College, Mount Holyoke College, and Hampshire College. Those colleges have been working together very closely since the mid-60s, and they offer students at their schools opportunities to take classes at each other's institutions. We've been able to tap into that network starting about 30 years ago in a more formal way to try to engage our students in that academic community. So we have access to lectures and different things that we can bring our students to at those colleges. We actually began a program. The Williston Scholars Program was originally a program where we co-taught classes at Williston with some college professors. So we might have a history class taught by our head of the chair of our history department, but then co-taught by a history professor at Amherst, or a language class taught by professors at Smith. That worked really well for a while, but what we recognized was that we were creating courses that our students didn't necessarily want to take. We had some really great opportunities that looked great on paper, but we listened to our students and found out that these are not necessarily classes they want to take, but they love the idea of trying to study at a higher level. So we morphed that program into an independent study program that allows our students to pursue a topic or an idea in conjunction with the department head at Williston, but then we connect them with resources in the Pioneer Valley. We connect them with professors, sometimes PhD students, other content experts that are associated with the colleges and universities to allow them to pursue that independent project. So we've had, as a working example, we had a student a couple of years ago that wanted to do some research on concussions in the NFL, the National Football League, and the protocols that were changing. His father was a lawyer. He's a young man from New Jersey. His father knew a lawyer that worked for the NFL. He got connected with him. Through the project, though, Connor worked with that lawyer, but then he also worked with a neuroscience professor at the University of Massachusetts to do a complete study of, or to do a complete presentation and an analysis of how concussions work, how they happen, what their effects are, and then he worked in conjunction with a lawyer in the National Football League to talk about the protocols as they were changing. So he did this kind of wide-reaching presentation on concussions in the NFL, what effect they had, and how the policies were changing. So really neat opportunities for students to tap into the resources around us. This is one of our art studios. So we have 6 full art labs. This is all of our art labs have a working station and then a classroom above. So all of them have these nice spiral staircases where you can walk up and have teachers can meet with students in a classroom setting. One of the really neat things about our art program, so all boarding schools are going to offer and usually require some kind of participation in afternoon programs. So they ask their students to do things in the afternoon. They go to their classes, but then they do things. They play on athletic teams. They might participate in the play. They might do a number of different things on campus. We, a while ago, designed a program called Arts Intensive, which allows our students who are more artistically inclined, instead of having to play a sport, we want them to be active, we want them to be engaged in teams. There's a lot of value that our students get when they work with teams, even if they're not going to go to the varsity level or play at the collegiate level. It's great to be exercised and to be engaged with other students. But we also found that a lot of our more artistically inclined students were being limited. They had to find that channel through art classes, and they didn't have as many opportunities. They had to find their own time to get to the studio. So we allowed an arts intensive program, which basically allows our students for at least one season a year, if they're involved in a particular artistic endeavor, to do that in lieu of a sport in the afternoon from 3:30 to 5:30 every day. They put together a proposal, they give it to the head of the art department, they take a look at it, and as long as there's some good quality to the proposal and it looks like it's something that they're going to actually be able to produce something, they're allowed to do that. All those arts intensive programs involve some kind of a presentation to the community. Oftentimes it's a performance, or it might be a presentation in one of our all school assemblies. We meet once or twice a week depending on the schedule as a whole school community. So the arts intensive folks will do it. They'll do art galleries, they might perform a song, they might perform a piece that they wrote for a one-act play. So they all get to kind of show off what they've done to the rest of the community. One of the things that's very different about Williston is our location. Similar to what Teddy was talking about with Blair, we are actually, a lot of boarding schools are in more secluded locations, right? They're off kind of in beautiful places with wonderful landscapes and mountains and trees and streams. And we have that as well. If you stand in the middle of our campus, I'll show you another slide actually. Well, this is just before I go, this is Tandem Bagel, which is a bagel shop, a coffee shop that's actually located on our campus. It's run independently. Folks from town go there as well. But it's run by two Williston families, two folks whose children went to Williston. So they actually lease an old art studio from us and run a bagel shop that our students can go to. We have ID cards that you also sort of pose as credit cards for our students, so families can put money on their cards and their accounts, and they can use those at a couple different vendors in town, including Tandem, which is essentially right on our campus. So I did a little picture of fall at Williston because it's beautiful and the leaves are changing. This is only, I think these drone shots were done 2 or 3 weeks ago. But one of the reasons I like this slide is, this is our main campus. So this is what we call our residential quad. We have 5 of our dorms are right here on this residential quad. We have our main quad, which is where all of our academic buildings, and then 3 other dorms are located. We have one of our turf fields. We have a huge swath of fields that are kind of right over here. Tennis courts, a full tennis pavilion, a baseball field, a softball field, another synthetic turf field. Right here, through here, is the main street of our town. And so what we do is we define our wider campus boundaries to include part of the downtown, because from right about here to just off the screen here, there are 26 different restaurants that our students can walk to. 5 of them are pizza places, so students, you're probably not going to go to many of those. You'll probably pick your favorite pizza place and go to that one over and over again. There is in fact one pizza place who no one can quite figure out how it's still open, because no one ever seems to buy pizza from Pizza House, yet it continues on. So they have a grocery store attached to it. So I think they're making all their money in the grocery store because their pizza's just not very good. It is one of the 26 restaurants though that our students can walk to. But within that, we have a sushi restaurant. We have 2 Mexican, Central American cuisine restaurants. We have a burger joint. We have a homemade ice cream place. We have a poke bowl place that does boba tea. So we have all these restaurants are within walking distance of the main campus. So we actually widen our campus boundaries to include those, and we allow our students to walk to those if they have a free period, or on the weekends if they want to go get food with their friends, they can do that. They can sign out on a small app that we have, but they don't need to get permission from a teacher. They can just do that so we know where they're going. So we find that to be really great. It is. We have we like to look at it as we have the best of both worlds. We're in our town, and our students can go and access town. But you also have, off in the distance here, you have this beautiful mountain range, a wide swath of forest, and everything like that. So, some of our newest construction. So we focused a lot of attention on establishing a residential quad. So I just pointed to it, but 5 of our dorms are located on a residential quad. 3 of them are brand new. So we focused a lot of attention in the last few years on building out our student spaces. It did expand our boarding program just a little bit, but more of it was taking existing dorms that were extending us too far as a campus and bringing us together and closing things out. So we've just finalized this, actually strangely right out of the pandemic. When we reopened, we closed briefly in spring 2020. When we reopened in fall 2020, the 3rd dorm actually opened up. So this is these 3 dorms. All of them are 38, 42 and 42, so a large portion of our boarding population live on that residential quad. I'll show you something at the end that shows a little bit of life on the quad. One of the things that we thought was really important was to have a really good open space for our students to gather and to do activities with each other on the weekends, be able to enjoy each other's company, and it is really nice to live in brand new dorms, right? So all of our students have a roommate, so our students live in doubles. Almost everyone lives in a double. Some students live in singles if they are proctors, so if they're student leaders, they apply for those leadership positions, and if they get those, they might live in a single in some of the dorms. So that is the residential quad. Here's a picture of, this is actually a picture of one of the older dorms. These three guys are in one of the newer dorms. Every student in their rooms gets a bed and a desk and a bureau, and you have a little closet. And the new dorms are really spacious. Oddly enough, the new dorms are really spacious and very nice. One of the oldest dorms on campus, though, is right in the center of the main quad. It's an 11th and 12th grade boys dorm. 11th and 12th grade boys have an option to live in one of the new dorms. Almost every student who's been at Williston for a couple years elects to live in the older dorm because it is the anchor of campus. It is the main centerpiece. And so even though it's an older dorm, a lot of our older guys elect to live there because it's right in the center of campus and they really like living in Ford. Another piece of what we're excited about ourselves is a program that we call our Compass, Comprehensive Program for Academic and Social Success. Compass is essentially just a word that umbrellas 4 different programs that we have. Those include Williston Scholars, which I just told you about, the independent study program. Our college counseling office, we start college counseling in smaller doses in 9th and 10th grade just to get some exposure for our students to the process. That's a little bit different than a lot of our peers. So we think our college counseling program is slightly different. We have a program that we call CORE, which is our life and leadership program, taught by 2 members of our Dean of Students office. We actually have a class, so 9th graders meet once every week together in a CORE class to just talk about a wide range of topics, all things that aren't academic. So it starts with nutrition, proper sleep habits, how we treat each other. We talk about social media and the uses of it, and balancing life with social media, and talking about putting parameters on in our lives. We do some executive functioning work. And then slowly but surely, as we move into 10th grade, we start to do some leadership training, and that evolves into 10th and 11th grade. And so it's a more leadership training focused class. This is a brief look at our college list. I know this is important to a lot of folks. So these are the most frequently attended colleges and universities by Williston students in the last 4 years, 5 years. So 5 years, 18 to 22. So these are essentially students who are in college now, right? And then these are the numbers next to them are the number of students that we have at those schools. So you can see it's a huge range, right? We have some of the more popular ones. We have 23 students right now at Northeastern, 15 at BU. 18 at Syracuse. We had 6 students from last year's graduating class that decided to go to Syracuse University, which was just interesting. But then you also see some great New England small colleges. Some of the Ivies are here, right? We have a few students at Yale. The Harvard number is nice, actually. The Harvard number, which is a number that people tend to look at. We have 3 students in our senior class that are going to be committing to Harvard, and there are 2 that are there, so that number will go up to 5 next year, which is kind of neat. My alma mater finally made it. I went to Amherst College, and we were 1, so we weren't on the frequent slide, but 2 students from last year's class went to Amherst, so I got to put it on the slide, which I was pretty excited about. Very strong athletic program. I talked about the arts program and the vibrancy of our arts. We do live in an area where we have a lot of really strong arts around us. Northampton, which is the next town over from us, is a very deep and heavy music scene. There's a lot of art galleries, and there's a lot of art in our area. Very strong athletic program. We operate a little bit different in Blair. We operate in an overarching athletic conference called NEPSAC, which is New England Prep School Athletic Conference. So we have 19 NEPSAC or Western New England championships in the last 5 years. We have 295 All-Americans in the school's history. As a good working example right now, we have 5 teams that compete against other teams that could make what is called the NEPSAC tournament. If you're in the NEPSAC tournament where we are, it means you're one of the top 8 teams in your sport, in your bracket. Right now, of our 5 teams that are competing in the fall, 4 have already qualified for a NEPSAC tournament. The other one will not qualify. Our girls soccer team is a wonderful bunch of young women, but they're not having a great season right now, so they're not going to be in the NEPSAC tournament. So that's pretty, we're excited about that. Those are starting next week back at home. In the last 5 years, this is an interesting statistic for us, in the last 5 years, somewhere in the neighborhood of 30% of our graduates are competing at the NCAA level at the Division 1, 2, or 3 level. And that is in every single sport that we offer. In every sport that we offer, we have someone competing at the college level in it, whether it be at a Division 1 level or at a Division 3 level at maybe a smaller college. So we're also exceptionally proud of the fact that Gabby Thomas, who is a 2015 graduate, won a bronze medal in Tokyo with the relay team. She came back and spoke at graduation this year. She's a great person, and we're very proud of her, and we're very proud of the fact that she was able to come back and talk at graduation too. So as I mentioned already, some really great opportunities in the arts. We have a theater program that's just amazing. The person that works with our thespians is just does some magical stuff with high school students, things that I've never seen at any other schools that I've been a part of. So we just finished our fall play, The Elephant Man. We do a fall play, which is a more traditional drama. In the winter, we do a musical. Strangely enough, our musical this year is SpongeBob SquarePants. I have really no idea what that's going to look like, but apparently it's going pretty well in an off-Broadway version, and I guess I can't wait. I'm very intrigued. Again, this is the musical that we have in the winter. And then just I thought it was good to sort of focus a little bit on similar to what Teddy was talking about. We knowing that our students are coming from so many different places, right? With students from 28 different countries, we know people are flocking to East Hampton every year to be a part of life at Williston, and that's a daunting thing, right? Particularly folks who are doing, as he mentioned, I've experienced it in the last couple of days, traveling from Massachusetts to here. It's a long way, right? And there's a lot in the way. So when you get to Williston, we want to make sure that kids are well taken care of, but they're also feeling comfortable and feeling good about themselves and having opportunities to engage with their peers. So we create a lot of different opportunities in the beginning of the year. We call our opening days welcome days. Those are the days that people are just arriving on campus, but we kind of feel like welcome days extends all the way to Thanksgiving, right? So we have a lot of different campus activities happening. You meet your advisors and faculty on that opening day. We do some class orientations. We do some mentoring with new students, but we have a huge convocation and a dinner. I'm not going to read these off actually, because I'm going to show you a quick video in a minute that are going to that'll tell you what those things look like. Here are some pictures from this year's orientation. So these are the 9th graders, and these are the 10th grade class. 9th graders go together to do some ropes course work, and then they do a 2-night overnight program. We had to put that on hold during the pandemic, but we were back to at least 1 night overnight this year. So the 9th graders, when they get there, 9th grade parents get to meet teachers. They get to spend the day on campus, move their children in, get to know the people that are going to be working and living with their children. But then when the parents depart, their children get on a bus and they actually go off campus for 2 nights. This year, 1 night. We're going back to 2 nights hopefully next year. And they do some ropes course work, and they just do some class bonding, and they get together as a class. And then they do events throughout the year together as well. 10th grade does some more orienting. They do a big hike up Mount Tom, which is right near our campus. So these are folks up in the fire tower. Even better though, I mean, orientation is wonderful, but we do a lot in those first few weeks. And I'm actually these are just some pictures. On the res quad that I pointed out, the quad that has the new dorm, we have a huge blow-up movie screen. So at least 2 or 3 times in the fall, we'll blow up the big movie screen and show a movie, and everybody can come out. We do s'mores, and you can see in the background here all this smoke. They get a grill going so they can do burgers and hot dogs and kebabs, but then they do s'mores after the movie, so everyone gathers there. Harvest Fest involves a big pumpkin carving contest. This is a picture from advisor dinners. At least essentially once a month, the dining hall closes on our campus, and advisees get together with their advisors and do dinner together as an advisory. Sometimes they go out to dinner to do that. Sometimes folks will host dinners in their homes. This is a picture from convocation, and then this is a part of a big event that we have called Willimpics. It's always on the 3rd weekend of the school year. Willimpics is Williston Olympics. So everyone gets connected. We do some silly activities as a dorm, and you compete. Dorm against dorm. Day students get assigned to different dorms, and they kind of participate with the dorm that they choose. It culminates with a huge lip sync contest, which was actually supposed to be last weekend, but it got postponed, so we're doing it. I'm going to miss it, unfortunately, because it happened this weekend right before we go into assessments. The lip sync is an opportunity for dorms to perform a lip sync. It has some incredible choreography. It's really silly, really fun, but kids take it very seriously in the nicest kinds of ways, and it's a huge, huge event for us as a school. So I thought, if it's all right, am I going too long, or am I okay? Or can I do one quick video that's like about 3 minutes? Okay. I know I've been talking for a while here, but so the one thing I wanted to do was, so let's see, hopefully this will work. I don't know how I can do the volume. This volume, that's okay. You don't really actually need to hear it, I guess. Does it work? Maybe? Let's see. Yeah, okay. So this is just, I'm not a huge social media person, but last spring we discovered that our Instagram account at Williston wasn't so great, and our students were the ones that told us, like, there's a lot of stuff happening on campus and you guys don't put anything on our Instagram. So we kind of refocused our energy. We've spent a lot of time this fall. We've got some students that have done some videos, and we've got our student activities director has taken this on herself to try to put more up on our Instagram account. So I've had to be a part of it. I will proudly tell you that 2 of the videos that are in this mashup that you're about to see were filmed by me, strangely enough. My son does not believe that, but I've been on our gram, as they call it. The reason I wanted to put this together is this is just a glimpse of different things that have happened, and I won't stop it, I'll just let it play, but this is a glimpse of things that have happened since we got to school. So it starts with, I'll explain this one. This is our opening orientation. It's the day that turns into convocation after, so we dress down in the morning, we have a bunch of fun and do some things, and then we dress up for a big convocation event at night that turns into a big barbecue. I'm going to let this run though, but this is just a glimpse of things that our students have done since the beginning of the school year. And I think it gives you a good, maybe, if it actually plays. So this is 11th grade class orientation. Big rock, paper, scissors contest that happens where if you lose, you have to go stand behind the person that beat you, and then you ultimately, it comes down to 2 people competing. This is a crazy game called Lighthouse, and I can't remember I don't remember the rules. Convocation, which is our opening, we have a speaker, it's a way to kick off the year, which turns into the convocation dance. Club fair, so one of the first things that we do is we have all the different clubs on campus have an opportunity to pitch their program to get students to sign up for their clubs. This is mine, I filmed this. I happened to be in the corner of the end zone and I got the touchdown. Turned into a big s'mores fest afterwards. This is Willimpics. So each dorm makes a big banner and they get to come out. This is the opening ceremony. That's the 9th grade girls dorm, Wold House. And then they all get together and the games begin. One of the more competitive games in Willimpics is a musical chairs contest. So it gets, this is a volleyball tournament that we have in the fall. So people get to put together up to 10 people on a volleyball team. Our boys soccer team winning a game. Mechanical pumpkin, part of Harvest Fest. That guy stayed on the pumpkin for 45 seconds, I guess. Victory bell that every team on campus, if you win a game, you get to go up and ring the bell in whatever fashion that your team wants to. Sometimes they have an elected representative, sometimes they all go through and ring it. And this is a huge cross-country, we host an event every year where 25 teams, or somewhere over 20 teams come for a boys and a girls cross-country race. So just a little bit of an example. If you want to see more, there's a lot more on our Instagram page. So I'd recommend that you go there and look at some of the highlights, because this is just a smattering of it. But it's, as one of the things that I think is true, and this isn't just my school, it's all boarding schools, is that there's a lot more than just education, a lot more than just classes that are going on. There's all kinds of levels of education, but there's also just real community being built, and it's a great place to be a part of. So that's it. Thank you.